Hello there and welcome to the Curvy Woodworking channel. In this video, I'm going to be creating some 70s retro style Holland chairs out of some walnut that I got from a local mill. Alright, so the most important part in any woodworking project is to have your template ready. Now I have to plan my glue up for the rough lumber, and I want to make sure that I have 90-degree angles between every glue up so I can get proper compression on there without those sections sliding out of control. Now the trickiest part is going to be this back spine, the one that comes all the way across. I want to cut this out of one solid piece of wood. But now the issue comes. My jointer is only 8 inches long. How am I going to make sure that I have a perfectly flat edge on both sides and maintain the thickness for the chair when I do my final glue up? I'm going to create a sled and I'm going to use brackets to secure that piece of wood in place, and then I can push it through the planer, which has a 13-inch opening compared to my 8-inch opening in the jointer. To drill the holes for the perpendicular joints, I'm going to be using a quick jig I put together in the shop. So I take one of the cut-off pieces, which is the exact width. I'm going to screw on some pieces of plywood, and then I'm going to drill a hole down the middle over here. It's going to be 90 degrees straight down. I'm then going to put a reference hole in my plywood on the outside. I'm going to draw a mark exactly where that bit's coming down, and then I'm able to transfer that from a lengthwise to a butt end. It is important to use an auger bit if possible here, because the other drill bits are still sharp around the edges, so it can ream it out over time and you can lose your accuracy. With an auger bit, I think I did 30 drills with this and it didn't change the dimensions at all. It went perfectly in and perfectly out every time. Chair leg section, you're going to see a lot of curvature throughout the chair, and that's somewhat deceiving at this stage in the project. The most important thing that I'm going to accomplish now is to make sure that I have 4 individual pieces that perfectly butt up to each other at 90 degrees. There's 2 reasons for this. One, when I transfer over to dowels, I want to make sure that my jig has a 90-degree entrance so that there's no difference in angles when I put the 2 pieces together. The second reason is when I apply the clamps for the pressure, if there's a slight angle, it'll cause the wood to slightly slide up. Even with the dowel, I'm going to have that little bit of movement, and that can also pry up to make a gap in the bottom. Now that I have it at 90 degrees, when I apply the clamp pressure, it's actually going to embed itself into the other piece of wood, into the dowel. Everything will be perfectly 90 degrees, and that's how you ensure that you have the strongest product. It is very deceiving though, because you see a lot of curvature throughout that chair. That being said, this is the first step, and then we're going to worry about shaping it afterwards. And specifically, you're going to have a lot of those grains that look straightened out, that will have that nice character coming across that curved section. Next step is to get the template that I made earlier, and I'm going to be using this router with a bottom bearing guided bit. So this is going to run along the template, and this is going to cut into the finished pieces of wood. Now I'm going to have 4 perfect copies. I'm only going to do one pass with the template on top of it, just because there is a lot of pressure on this and I'm only holding the two together with double-sided tape. So once I put the first depth in there, I now have a separate transfer mark I can run this bearing on the finished piece. For the final pass, I'm going to be switching it up and I'm going to be using a trim router bit. It's the exact same concept, except now the bearing is on the top and the cutting head is down below, so I can transfer that final section over and trace out the image. Now that I have the template on the 4 separate pieces, I'm going to start to sand it. Now, I have to put on a routed rounded edge along the entire length of the chair, but before I do that, I want to make sure that everything's perfectly smooth, just because when I use the router, it can shake and I can get these little divots in there. So I'm going to be using standard orbital sandpaper, 60, 80, 100 grit, before I put on that rounded edge, and then I'll switch over to 150 and 220 to finish up the chair. The 150 and 220 are a polish sand, so it won't actually affect the dimensions. 60 to 100 will affect the dimensions, which is why I wait to router till then. The two-shaped chair legs are now complete. I now need to make 4 spreader bars that are going to connect them together, 3 along the back and then 1 in the front. Now you might be asking yourself why I didn't do this at the beginning. One, I want to be perfectly accurate, so now that I actually have the male end of the biscuit that will be sliding in here, I can take an exact measurement of that and it's easier for me to trace out through the template. And then what I can do is I can flip it in either direction and then it's going to perfectly line up with each other, so I don't have to worry about measuring during my glue up. It should all slide right into place. For the spans between the 2 chair legs, I'm going to be using a 2-part epoxy, mainly because it has filling capabilities in between the joinery and the hollowed out sections I cut in the leg chairs. When I did the blind dowels, it was an exact fit with each other, so the polyurethane glue excels there. However, on this one, because I have potentially little gaps in there just from woodworking discrepancies, I'm going to be using that 2-part epoxy to make sure I have a perfect bond. finish I'll be using is an Osmo oil product. It's a 3011 gloss finish. You're gonna put 2 coats on there, and for each coat you're gonna apply a heavy amount, and then you're gonna wipe it off 5 to 10 minutes later, and that allows the wax to penetrate into the wood. With the fine woodworking complete, I'm going to go into some rough carpentry. So for the bucket of the seat, I'm going to be using a 5/8 plywood, and that's going to be the support for the upholstery foam, and then after that, the upholstery on top of it. I'm building this chair for a Puma, so I have to get some lumbar support in there. So I currently have a layer of 5/8, another layer of 5/8 on top of that. Foam neatly, you're gonna have to get yourself one of these oscillating turkey knives off of Amazon. If you use a standard knife, you're gonna peel and drag some of the material. This cuts through straight perfectly the first time. Over to upholstery foam, and then put a layer of Dacron on top of it. This Dacron layer is actually what gives that cushion the uniform look. Well, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you want to see some more custom builds in the future, be sure to subscribe, hit that alert button, and like this video.